sombreros and hay and donkeys. We've already heard songs referencing horses. The rancho vibe is so important to banda music, and not just in the lyrics, but as you were saying, in dress. You can drive through downtown LA any given morning at the height of urban Los Angeles and see hundreds of people in cowboy hats and boots and belt buckles and trucks. And the idea of the rancho in LA is still a very prominent idea. What do you think's going on with that, about this kind of resurgence, even in young people who are born here, who want to kind of represent the rancho?
I mean, I forgot, I didn't wear my boots today because it was kind of hot, and my donkey, he's like hanging out in the back. But yeah, no, I think there's a sense of like, a lot of these bands, I'm sure these kids can attest to that, like, your parents came from small towns in Mexico, right? Like small ranchos. So the life of the rancho, the cows, it's something that we're very proud of, and it's also something that we kind of always remember. Like our parents would remember because, oh, I wish I was in my ranchito, you know, or I wish I had, you know, my cows, my horses. So now, I mean, throughout the years, we've seen like, yeah, the cowboy was really hot, and the botas, and like, you know, the certain dress. But it's been changing now because, you know, that you want to be cool too. You know, you can't wear botas all the time. Like you want to wear like maybe nice shoes here and there. So it's changing, but we still see like snippets of it in our clothing, in the way we act, in the words I mean, even in the lingo. Like you hear it, the parientes, you know, all these words that we still use or reference to because they're part of like this rancho culture that we're also very proud of.
Was that true for you guys growing up? You're just smiling. Was there ever moments where you got kind of in trouble with your friends? Were like, why are you wearing that hat? Why are you wearing those boots?
Well, not necessarily in trouble, but yeah, we'll be isolated. I mean, in typical high school, you have the punkers, you have the cool kids, and then you have the paisas. You know. No, paisas, that's the slang word, you know, for the typical Mexican or Mexican American. You know, we'll be rocking them, little tees and stuff. It's all good, but yeah, not necessarily. I mean, it's not gonna bring us trouble. It's like the same way a lot of people, what's that word? They'll be sagging. You know, that's one of the styles. You know, us paisas, we have our little typical jeans. You know, either our little cowboy boots or just our dress shoes or just different ideal clothing.
So, I mean, for me, as someone who didn't grow up in a banda music culture, part of what is so beyond the incredible power and fun and political import of the music, which I think no matter if you speak Spanish or not, you cannot deny this music and what it can do to you, is that it has all of this connection to traditional lifestyles of the rancho, of the countryside, but it's also super urban and contemporary. And not only is it about Mexican Los Angeles, but increasingly is making its way to other people that are starting to notice it. So there was a famous example 3 years ago when Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas. You guys Fergie fans? It's all right, you can admit it. This is a safe space. And Fergie was being interviewed, and in a number of Spanish language newspapers, she said that her ultimate dream was to do a duet with Los Tigres del Norte. Now, Los Tigres are not banda, but they're the godfathers of norteño music in the United States. And it was one of those moments where everyone was like, wow, Fergie wants to duet with Los Tigres? And they went to Los Tigres and they were like, so what do you think? You want to do a duet with Fergie? And they were like, ¿Quién es Fergie? It didn't matter at all. Fergie needed Los Tigres more than Los Tigres needed Fergie. And that kind of maybe crossover or connection across culture is happening with someone we've got as a special guest now, a guy who goes by the name of Wil Dog, aka El Gavachillo, who is part of a band here in Los Angeles, some of you might know, called Ozomatli. While I'm waiting for the Ozo applause. And Wil Dog is debuting a new project that he's been working on for quite a while now, that is a tribute to banda music. And this Friday night, you can see an entire Wil Dog, Gavachillo, Banda Viento de Oro show at Grand Performances downtown, completely free. I urge you to go check that out. What time does the show start? 8 o'clock. Free, family friendly. With water. It's like this, bigger with water. And And we want to know how this happened, Dog. I mean, working for 17 years in one of the most well-known LA multiracial, multicultural, multi-genre bands. How did you fall in love with banda?
Well, I grew up in a more of a Central American community in LA, and but right after high school, and I heard music, banda norteño growing up a lot in LA, and wasn't that into it, to be honest. I was more into hip hop and punk rock. I grew up a punk rock kid, and just after high school, I went on a blind date with a woman from Michoacan. And we started dating for a while, and she used to take me to bailes. They were basically like dances where they had bandas. And one time in particular was I went to Rancho Farallon. This was 20 years ago. Dating myself, yeah. But this was 20 years ago, and we went to see Banda Limon. And this big guy was singing. His name is Coyote. And I was so enamored by the sound of banda music and just the community of people that it took to create the music and the amount of people that it takes to create. It's not, each one of these instruments, if you put like a guitar and a bass on stage, the guitar can play the chords, but think about it like this. Each one of these instruments and these guys up here is playing one string on the guitar, one string on the bass. Each guy is playing one string, and that's what creates the whole sound. So I got really into banda music, and I was listening to it for like 15 years. And I decided that I was going to be a tuba player. And so with the help of my guys in Ozomatli who had sponsorships with horns companies, they got me a tuba, and a tuba was sent to my door for free. And I started taking tuba lessons, and I saw that was going to be a really hard task, so I put that down quickly and continued listening to banda music. And then about 4 years ago, Ozomatli was headlining at the Hollywood Bowl, and we had an idea to have a banda back us up for one of our songs called La Misma Canción, which is already a ranchera. So we hired a banda, and then in rehearsals for this big performance, I was calling out tunes to the guys. Hey, you guys know this? You guys know this song? Yeah, okay, play it. And then I sang it in the rehearsal room. So we did the Hollywood Bowl show, and then at the after party for the Hollywood Bowl show, the banda shows up, and they didn't have their singer, and they said, "Queremos tocar, güey. We want to play." And I was like, "Pero quién va a cantar? Like, who's gonna sing?" And they were like, "You need to sing." So I just got up there and sang, and people started asking me to play parties, and yeah, that's kind of how it happened. I just kind of dropped into it, and just real recently, I'm learning that just by me doing it, it's kind of creating a bridge between, people that are really into music, the paisa scene, which I love, and I'm kind of an outsider, but I'm in it as well, I am an outsider in the scene, and kind of a bridge between that and people that don't know about this music that's so important. I mean, like what Josh and Yarel are talking about, this music is so huge. If you don't know about this music, I can't even tell you, like, the more I got into it, the more I realized how big and how important this music is to the world. And, when we go to these music festivals and world music festivals, oftentimes regional Mexican music is left out. Well, regional Mexican music is the biggest world music in the world, and so I think it's really important that, we step up to plate as, Americans, white Americans, and realize that this is happening, and that part of it is, I think, that it's part of the community who listens to the music, are the people, in the service community, the people that are oftentimes overlooked, that are forgotten about, that are invisible to the rest of society here, but there's millions of them, and I think part of that is why that this music is overlooked as well.
You mentioned El Coyote. What was so fascinating about him that you just are enamored by?
Well, I think it's that high voice. I wish I could sing that high voice. Like, Árboles de la barranca. I can't even get up there, but yeah, he has this, he's very big, very large, but he has this voice, he's huge, I mean, you know, like 300 pounds, and he has this voice that's so high, and that's what I'm realizing. I mean, I'm working on my voice more and more, but to cut through this music, you gotta have a voice that can handle breaking through, you know, the trumpets and trombones and stuff.
And I know you're a big fan of corridos also, right? Is that when they were asking you to sing, were corridos were the ones you were singing?
Some of them were corridos. I stay away from the narco corridos. You know, I don't think it would be right for, you know, me to be singing those songs. But I like some of them. I like the music in some of them, and I listen to them for sure.
Tell us a little bit about your project. You've been working with some of regional Mexican's finest, Regulo, El Borrego, and many more artists, right?
A few years ago I was talking to my buddy Dan, he's over there, he could raise his hand with the Clash shirt, and we were talking, and you know, he knows I really love this music, and he knows something about the music as well, and he brought it up to me that it was great that if I did like because I was telling him how the energy from banda music gives me the same energy that I had when I was a kid, when I used to go to the Clash concerts and I would see Dead Kennedys and bands, and he came up with the idea, why don't you do it would be awesome if you did a cover album of punk songs but done in banda style. So that's what I've been working on, and I'll play a couple of the songs today that it's at. Should I play one? Police? The banda wants to play Police on My Back.
Police on My Back, which was a huge hit for The Clash, originally by the Equals.
Yes.
Eddie Grant's first band in the UK, and an anthem of anti-police justice. Gavachillo, Banda Viento de Oro.
Police on My Back. Clap your hands, come on.
Es conocido, policía tras de mí, unos tiros y la letra de mí, y la víctima pues nunca regreso y voy corriendo. El tiempo es jueves, viernes, sábado, y voy corriendo. El tiempo es jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. Ay, cago yo, ay, cago yo. Track, won't you help me? Police on my back, then will catch me. If I go drop back, won't you give me all the speed I lack? Y voy corriendo. Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. Y voy corriendo. Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado y domingo. Ay, cago yo. Ay, cago yo. Reventon la trompeta,
All right. The next song we're gonna sing, well, I'm gonna sing, is a song called Sinaloense. You guys familiar with that? Yeah. Sinaloense. But I had to change the lyrics. It's Californiense. Gavachense. Gavachonchon se dice. Desde California vengo, dicen que nací en el norte. Me dicen que soy gabacho, pues mi acento me delata. Pero me pongo sombrero pa' venir a darles lata. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, mamá, por Dios, todos se ganan tambora. Después se me perdido por el pueblo de Gavachillo pa' que vean como le brinco. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, mamá, por Dios. Me dicen enamorado, pero de esto nada tengo. Me dicen abuelo, el perro pego con suerte. Pues si salta chaparrita, luego le doy frente. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, mamá, por Dios, por Dios que para tormento. Me la tambora, después se me perdido por el río de Gavachillo pa' que vean como yo brinco. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, mamá, por Dios. Soy del mero California, donde se sufren las horas y se llama sola. Lejos de Gavachillo, mientras ves en español, yo le compro su ranchito. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, mamá, por Dios, después se me perdido por un tiempo de versión para que digan como el brinco. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. ¡Woo! ¡Gracias! ¡Californiense! Oh, okay, bear with me on this next one. Is a White Stripes song. You might be familiar with it, but I just got finished translating the lyrics, so I'm reading off them off a page right here. So if I mess up, don't hold it against me, okay? All right, here we go. Lucharé contra todos, un ejército de 7 naciones nos da. Me van a descargar, así muy lentamente a mis espaldas lo harán. Llega la noche y hablo como loco sin poder olvidar. Me recorre todo por la mente como sin parar. Y mis ojos gritan con locura, déjame en paz.
escucharé más nada. Cada loco con su chisme que quiere contar. Y solo aumentan todo, desde los pinches pinos al mismo diablo. Échenme lo que quiere, que si quiero se las mentaré. No es lo que quieren oír y no te detestaré. Y siento que tus besos vuelven tu país. Lucharé contra todo. Un ejército de 7 naciones nos da. Me van a desgarrar. Así muy lentamente a mis espaldas lo harán. Llega la noche y hablo como loco sin poder olvidar. Me recorre todo por la mente, fumo sin parar. Y mis ojos gritan con locura, déjenme en paz. Gracias. One more. ¿Quieren otra? I'll break out the bajo quinto real quick.